I can't not make a video about proposed 3D printer bans in states like California, Washington, and New York. So I've been doing CNC and 3D printer work for a very, very long time. I've been doing CNC for 28 years now. I've been doing 3D printer stuff for 16 years. So I have a very, very, very long history with this stuff. I know how it works. I know what it can do. I know what it can't do. And I've built innumerable things with these technologies over the last few decades. I've more than likely built more things with these technologies than most people on the internet. So I am an authority on this subject. I usually don't try to be egotistical like that, but I am. And I certainly know more, infinitesimally more, than these dumb politicians in states like California, Washington, and New York. In this video, I want to talk about why these laws are unconstitutional, although that should be obvious. And then more importantly, I want to talk about how you'd actually enforce these insane laws. Apologies to my regular viewers, but here's how 3D printing works. You either download a file or you create your own. Here's an example of me creating my own in Fusion 360. There's other programs such as Blender and SolidWorks. But here I'm creating a D-cell battery replacement. So after you create the parametric file, you export it as something called an STL, Surface Tessellation Language, which describes the object as thousands and thousands of triangles. You then take the STL file, which again is a 3D object file, and you bring it into something called a slicer. The slicer decides how to turn that 3D object into hundreds, if not thousands, of 3D printed layers. It prints one layer at a time in 2 dimensions, and then it prints another layer on top of that, making it a 3-dimensional object. And all of this is done by describing G-code. G-code is a very ancient language that basically tells machines how to move around. What an amazing technology, and it's affordable for your own home. So of course, politicians don't want you to have it. They're scared of guns. Just think about how absurd this is. This isn't a 3D printer ghost gun ban in the UK or in Australia or any other country that heavily restricts the ownership of guns. These are proposed bans in America. Washington State also wants this to apply to CNC machines, which is even more ridiculous. And then in New York State, they don't even want you to be able to buy a 3D printer online. They want 3D printer sales to be in person. So New York State wants to treat 3D printers as guns. My lathe could make a gun. Does that mean my lathe is a gun? It's really quite stupid, but these laws are being driven by politicians who absolutely hate the Second Amendment, and they don't care how many other hobbies they take down in their hatred. New York State assumes that everyone that buys a 3D printer is going to print a gun with it. This kid trying to do a project for school, oh, he's going to print a gun. This hippie who wants to make some jewelry, oh, they're going to print a gun. New York State is assuming criminality, but it's not even criminal. American citizens can build guns.
I'm sure you all understand the legalistic drawback to pre-crime methodology.
Here we go again.
Assuming criminality and blocking the sale based on it is like making someone take a DUI test before they can buy a car. But Ben, that's how background checks work for guns. Yes, for guns. 3D printers aren't guns. I can't just walk out of a store and pull the trigger on my 3D printer and kill somebody with it. No, a 3D printer is a tool. How would you enforce this from a technical standpoint if and probably when, given these states' records, this becomes law? Well, you need to interrupt the slicer to printer pipeline. We have to make sure that only authorized data is allowed into the 3D printer. So what you would do is you would have to have some Big Brother website that does the slicing for you. After you've designed something, or if you download a file to print off the internet, you would send that STL file, which is the 3D object file. You would send it to the online Big Brother slicer. The Big Brother slicer would then analyze it to see if it resembles an evil gun. If the Big Brother server determines that the object is not a gun, it would then slice it, creating the thousands of lines of G-code that are necessary to print the file. Oh, so then we just send the G-code back to the user and he can print it? How silly of you. No, we have to ensure that U.S. citizens aren't allowed to print gun parts, even though U.S. citizens are allowed to build guns. So what we do is we take that G-code on the server side, on the Big Brother server, and we make a hash for it. This is basically kind of like a checksum that says this hash matches up to this particular file. And then what you do is you encrypt the hash and you send that back as a signed file package. And then, and only then, can your 3D printer unlock the package. It's kind of like how Windows only wants to run signed software as well. But of course, Windows will actually run unsigned software. It will just say, are you sure you want to run this file? California, New York, and Washington states wants to make it illegal for you to say, yes, I want my 3D printer to run this unsigned file. And those keys are embedded inside your printer, so you don't have access to them. And if you hack them, you're probably in violation of one of these laws. This is like making a DVD player that won't play certain movies or making a car that won't drive certain places, although that's probably coming too. This Big Brother website would have to have some sort of AI that would determine whether or not the 3D object you sent it is a gun or a part of a gun. And they wouldn't just stop at, oh, this matches an existing file that we know. They would use learning and heuristics to say, oh, this is kind of like a gun or this could be a gun. But the thing is, a lot of things in life are like guns. Guns are designed to fit the human hand. Thousands and thousands of tools are also designed to fit the human hand. So if you're an AI, which obviously we know are completely infallible, how would you really know if something's a gun or not? Is this a gun? This kind of looks like a gun. We better not print it. Uh-oh, looks like I found another gun. Oh, I don't know. Have I been trained enough? Is this a gun? I'm not sure. I better just say, yes, it is a gun. You can't print it. Hey, look, I found another gun. I'm not sure if this is a gun. We better process it again. I think I found another gun. Gun detected. Do not print. Am I going to need a background check to buy this book? Would an AI think this is a gun? It's possible. It also might not think it's a gun. So even though there is indeed a workable way to enforce these stupid laws on 3D printers, they're still unconstitutional, a violation of the First, Second, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment. We also need to take into consideration that this isn't really even about guns at all. I mean, ultimately, all of this stuff, including this huge sudden push for online ID, is about control. It's about limiting the means of production. It's about ensuring that we remain slaves to corporations instead of manufacturing things ourselves. Oh, and speaking of corporations, let's discuss all of the ulterior motives to passing everyone's 3D printer data through an online Big Brother server. For every ghost gun that's printed and fired exactly once before it breaks in the committing of a crime, there are 10,000 Mandalorian helmets printed. For every bump stock that's 3D printed and used in a mass shooting, there were 50,000 bootleg Labubus printed. You know, once these corporations have those back doors into what we can and cannot 3D print, they're going to be limiting far more than just 3D printed gun parts, because in the real world, most people aren't 3D printing gun parts. Except, of course, and I should have mentioned this during the What is a Gun section, the Nerf community. There's a huge community around using 3D printers to modify Nerf guns. How does this get through the online Big Brother censor? First of all, it looks like a gun. Secondly, whoever owns Nerf could say, oh, this is violating our copyright. In summary, this is a back door that should not be left open. Louis Rossmann, who is not remotely black-pilled enough, is always talking about the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Sadly, that's an existing law. Once you pair that with all these new laws involving 3D printers, you've given governments and corporations many more avenues with which to attack our ability to manufacture things ourselves. So what's the call to action? Well, stop voting for state representatives who don't know anything about technology. Is it worth hobbling tens of millions of legal 3D printer users just because 10 assholes might 3D print a gun and try to hurt someone? Well, here's my statement. No, it's not worth it. There's no middle ground or safe solution with this, as some makers have proposed. It's all or nothing. Once you give them dominion over your ability to print things, you will never get it back. And yes, America is a republic made up of 50 very different states. And when a state decides to go completely insane, its citizens can just move to a different state. But quite often in history, when a state or a few states have a really bad idea, like 3D printer bans or prohibition, those bad ideas tend to trickle over into the other states. For instance, since a few weeks ago when I started making this video, Colorado has added themselves to the list of shame. Do you live in one of these states that's trying to ban 3D printers? Here's what you can do ahead of time to protect yourself. First of all, if you don't have a printer, buy one right now. And when choosing what printer to buy, avoid any printers that have online functionality whatsoever. Bamboo Labs is one of the most popular 3D printer brands on the planet. It's also one of the best brands. But if you live in one of those states, do not buy one. You may already own one, but for the future, you're going to want a different printer, because since Bamboo Labs is intricately tied to the web, that means they could retroactively apply these changes with a flip of a switch. Oh, I just won't update my firmware. That will stop them. Unable to download file because you don't have the latest firmware and are living in California, Washington, Colorado, or New York. I'll just use a VPN. You do realize VPNs are going to go bye-bye once all those online digital ID laws come into play, right? No. So what you got to do is get the best printer you can that operates without the internet. Local Wi-Fi is okay, but anything that requires you to log in or use a service, you're going to want to avoid if you live in one of those 4 states. You're also going to want a printer that can use an open source slicer like Cura or Prusa slicer. Now, most of the slicers are based off of those, including the ones from Bamboo, but you're going to want like the core software. So instead of using like Bamboo, which is based off Cura, you actually just use vanilla Cura, even though that's also now owned by another company. Prusa slicer is probably your best bet because it can support many kinds of printers, and it's a standalone program that runs on your local computer. Keep it off the cloud.